Welcome to Campaign Terrain. I'm your resident basement dweller, that guy Cross, and today I'm going to teach you how to make quick, simple, cheap battle boards for your campaigning. You can make them in two different sizes. They take almost no time at all to make, and you'll be gaming faster than you'd expect. So that's on Campaign Terrain. Welcome. All right, let's get right into it. This is that foam mat you get for putting down in your workshop or your yoga studio. It comes from hardware stores. You can get it. It's usually called puzzle mat. You can see why right here on the side. These pieces butt up. Now these squares are usually sold as 2-foot square. They are not quite 2-foot square. If you actually measure across this way, it's about 2 feet from this edge to this edge, but that leaves you with these gaps in your holes. So we're going to go ahead and leave the strip attached here on the side that makes it smooth, and that gives us more than 2 feet from this smooth edge to this cut edge here. These are normal floor tiles. You can pick these up at any hardware store. They come in about 30 different patterns and styles. You can get whatever you want. I just like this generic sort of semi-travertine, semi-slate look. And they are, the box I got was about $16 for 20 boards, so less than $1. That was not on sale or anything. You can get them for less than that. You can get them for as little as like 40 cents a board sometimes. They are 1 foot by 1 foot, so it makes it really simple to do. Make sure you have 2 feet on your piece of rubber. And then each of these, they have a direction, and that keeps the grain of the stone oriented with each other. So I'm going to keep all of mine to my left, your right, and as you can see, that's going to allow the grain to pretty much line up with those. So I'm going to make a large 2 foot by 2 foot square board, but you can also create these 1 by 1s simply by slicing them. When I do that, I like to leave a little bit of space between them. I don't do them all at once. I'll do one and cut it and one and cut it. That's for the smaller ones, but for the solid ones, I'm going to go ahead and do them all together. I'm going to show you how to do that. So just a second, let me get this orientated correctly, and I will be right back to show you how to do that. Okay, so let me show you how to work with the mat. The mat always has a texture on it. It's a different texture depending on which brand you get or which store you get it from. This one just happens to be this sort of crossed over woven pattern. I like to put that on the bottom for 2 reasons. 1, the tiles stick better to the smooth side than they do to this side, and 2, this pattern side works better for gripping on the table so that the tiles don't slide, or the battle board won't slide around. So flip that over and let you see that. As you can see, there's a smooth side. Sometimes there's little imperfections and things like that. If you're a LARPer and you're using it for costuming, this is probably not the brand you want to go with, but for what we're doing, it's perfect. It'll work just fine. Okay, now, all these little gaps and slight differences in elevation on the rubber, they'll go away because the edge of the stickum on the tile will grab this part and this part and this part and this part, and it will all stay together. It'll be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and line all these up and orient them correctly. So these are all facing to my left. And let me go ahead and start, and I'll show you. These peel off. Sometimes there's a little bit of static on these. Be careful if you have any like glue or an open drink or anything like that. Now, as you can see, there's some sticky stuff on the side. You can probably see a fingerprint on there. And it's quite sticky. It's not going to come off anytime soon. So, again, keep my arrow to the left. Peel off my paper. All of it. Don't want this corner not sticking. Okay, again, that's oriented to my left. I'll take that, I'll line it up as well as I can with these 2 edges, the top and bottom, and make sure I'm not overhanging. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I want to make sure I'm not overhanging here at the corner, and get those as close as I can to the 2 edges without overhanging, and then make sure this is pressed in so that there's no gap between the portions of it. Just want to push those together. And then, once everything's squeezed together, just start to put them down. Just want to press it really good. Get all of it on there. If you have a brayer, that's one of those rollers for ink on flat surfaces, that would work great for this. A rolling pin would also work. I've never really needed that. I just push them down with my fingertips and it's all fine. Okay, so that's one. We're a quarter of the way done. I told you this was simple. And slide these out of the way. Take the next one, keep it oriented the same way. Peel the paper. Peel again all of the paper. And then I want to take it, line it the same way, that left to left, these arrows, and make sure that it's lined up right here and right here. Press it against like this. Make sure that you keep it pressed as you put it on. And again, that keeps this grain running across here like this. This one actually lined up really well because this black line connects with this black line. I don't think they always line up that well, but that's the idea, is the grain goes the same way. Again, use my fingers or a brayer or a roller to press those down. And then just repeat with the other two. I'm going to finish these other two, and then I'll be right back. I'm back. First, I want to apologize. There's a glare here. I think it's here in y'all's view. Most things I do aren't this shiny, so hope you can see through that. This next part, as you see, I already went ahead and put the other two squares on here, so we're ready to cut it to the edges so it can butt up against against things. Now, I know y'all are like, how's he going to make that fit? I'm not. I've tried. There's no way to really make that work. So I'm going to take this off, the front edge up here, little strip over here on this side, and back here. If you've got a straight edge, that's definitely the way to go, though you can just use the edge of the tile to keep it going, but you run the risk of cutting into the tile. So I always like to use a straight edge. You use any kind of knife you want. You can use your basic utility box knife with the blade. That will get through it, but I think that blade's a little short because of the angle you want to cut at. I use this knife a lot, but not today. You can use a regular cutting knife. I know Bard's Craft and some of the other channels really like kitchen knives, and this will work. You've also got the smaller blade of the extension blade type knives, your general utility knife, and that'll work, but this blade will tend to get away from you with this flex. So we're going to use the one with the thicker blade, and I'm going to use this. This is the blade I use for cutting through foam boards a lot, no matter what kind of foam it is. Okay, so that's it. So straight edge, if you've got it, you want to keep the blade as perpendicular as possible. If you do have to tilt it, you want to tilt under so that these will butt up against something. If you tilt it out so there's a lip on the edge, you're going to always end up with a gap between this and your next board. And other than that, it's a simple matter of just line it up with the edge. Take your blade. Always replace the blades. The blades are cheap, and a sharp blade always works better. Replace your blade. If you're wondering, I don't know, do I need to replace my blade? Yes, yes you do. If you're not wondering that, yes, yes you do. Replace your blade. Okay, make sure you're lined up real well. And then, ooh, like butter. That's it. Take that piece off. Line up, a little bit of a different angle. Hopefully you can see this one of the angles better than the other. Sometimes it takes more than one cut to get through, which is fine. Oops. Cut over my metal sheet. That's not good. All right. Okay. Got a little bit of a overhang here. Like I said, that's going to be a problem, so let's go ahead and get rid of that right now. Ornery today. All right, let me get these other two sides, and I'll be right back to show you the finished thing. Okay, I finished that board. I've got some smaller ones here. I got some little friends who are going to show you some scale on this, and we'll move them out of the way for a sec. Okay, these are those 1x1 boards I did. So you can see they butt right up against there. You can put them like this. You can put them like this. You can put them like this. You can make different arrangements, different ways. show you the bottom of how this looks. Hey, the glare's gone. Yay! So as you can see, the puzzle pieces are still here at the bottom edge and the right edge, but they have been glued together with the glue on the bottom of the tiles, and oops, get that into frame, and those will stay just as well as the other. If you really want to, you can come along after and put glue down in each of these little gaps with like stick your hot glue nib in there and squirt it, or drop in some super glue. You don't need it. As you can see on one of these, this one, I've even pieced it together. It's got a second piece here, and a third piece here, and I've never put any glue in between them. So those are free floating, so to speak, and they work just fine. So there's no problem with those. And that's it. They're good and ready to go. Now you've got a rock base if you just want to, if you're ready to game on it and plunk some pieces down. Especially if you're those people that just use like walls to show different areas. You can say this is one edge of the cavern and that's the other, and you two are coming through the. You've got the open space. Also, if you want to set things up to have like little diorama, you can use the smaller ones as. Oops. Facing him away from the camera, poor little shy guy. All right, and you can use things like this to make backgrounds for your dioramas, things like, and it'll make a nice, backdrop for a picture if you're putting your own stuff online or anything. So that's it. They're ready to game on. You can plunk a house on here. You can plunk walls on here, ruins, plant life, a hill, whatever you want. You're ready to go. Now this is a rocky one, so you can use this for arid desert. You can use this for caverns. You could use this for the floor inside a castle. For outside, they do have some of these. They have like a green marble, and it looks almost like grass anyway. So just depending on which pattern you get. But that's it. You're good to go. This entire project took 10 minutes, and if with the foam comes in packages of 4, you only need the 2 side strips to make it have enough space, so you can get a full 16 square feet out of the foam from one package. Packages range anywhere from $8 to $32 depending on which store you go to and which brand you get. You can get, and then if you're getting 20 in a package of the tiles, that covers your 16 square feet. So those are another $20. So let's say you spend $10 on your foam and $20 on your tiles. You're coming out to $30 for a 16 square foot 4x4 battle board. That is a pretty good price for a lightweight board. It's easy to carry, especially if you cut it into fourths. You can just butt up the 4 pieces against each other and you're good to go. So I hope this has been helpful. This is a quick, simple, cheap way to make surface terrain. All right, thanks for coming to see the video, and I'll be back with some closing notes, and that's it. Okay, so there we've got the battle board finished, and as you can see, it works as a backdrop for if you're photographing or videoing behind them, and they can be butted up against each other. And your little guys can move across them, and that's it. Cheap and easy battle board, ready to go. Oh, no, man down. Okay, so that's it. Here on Campaign Terrain, you have just learned how to make a simple, easy, cheap battle board in just a few minutes. So it's fast, cheap, and simple to make. That's a pretty rare combination. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Please make sure to hit not only the subscribe button, but the top bell so that you stay informed on what we're bringing to you. And don't forget that we have webpage, Instagram, and all the other social media. Those links will be in the description down below. All right, thanks so much for coming, and you have a great day.